to try to get you a job now. I got you a date, hopefully, and now hopefully I'm going to get you the job of your dreams, and then you guys are really going to love your psychology web class. Okay, job interview quiz. Let's try this. The best place to get a job is through the classified ads or an online job hunting site like Monster.com or Craigslist. Answer that, true or false. Is that the best place to get it? Classified ads or Monster.com? Okay, let's do number 2. Research has found that your job qualifications are the most important predictor of whether or not you get the job. Is that true or false? You should inject a sense of humor into your job interview. True or false? Alright, let's test this out. Let's see how we can use social psychology to land your job. So, we got to remember the role of person perception. Try to appear as much like them as possible. Remember that similarity. We're using the rules of attraction here. So what I want you to do is I want you to figure out what they dress like. If you're applying to a company where they all seem to be very clothes conscious and they tend to be totally in style, you need to go into that job interview looking totally in style. Even if you have to borrow something, if you have to, what do they say, rent the bags or whatever from a website, I want you to look as much like them as possible. Now, if they're more of a laid-back kind of place, I want you to dress nice for the job interview, but more laid-back, not too out there with these fancy clothes. If you want to be a nurse, I want you to look as much like a nurse as possible. So what you want to do is you want to look just like them because we're attracted to people who are similar to us. The next thing is you're going to get excited about this job. You got to learn as much about the organization as possible. Remember, reciprocity. We tend to like people who like us. So the more that you know about the organization and the more enthusiasm that you get about the mission statement and so on and so forth, basically you're engaging in reciprocity. Is hopefully they're excited about the job, and now you're going to get excited about the job and do that whole thing. Now, what I say there is memorize your lines as this. Check this out. I want you guys to try this right now. I want you to add up 10 plus 13 plus 28 plus 7 plus 6. Add that up in your head. Now, there's a good chance that you had to look around the room. I know whenever I ask my students to do it in face-to-face, they can't look me in the face while they're adding that up in their head. They have to look up in the corner of the room. And that's what tends to happen whenever we're thinking about something. So see, when you memorize your lines to the standard job interview questions, you can look people in the face while you're talking to them. But if you're having to think about your answers, then you're looking around the room and you just don't look quite as professional. When you can look somebody dead in the eye with enthusiasm and tell them the answer to their questions, that looks hot. That looks great. Okay, so let's see what I'm talking about. You say, well, what kind of questions would they be asking? They ask, why do you want to work here? My gosh, what are you doing there if you don't have that one? What makes a good person? What makes a good nurse? What do you plan on doing for our organization? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What was your job like before? What was, I want you to come up with every possible answer that they could ask you in order to prepare for this job interview. And I want you to write down something great. Now you say, well, what is great? So I'm going to get to that on one of these next bullets, but I don't think they're in line. So I'm just going to tell you, and then we'll get to it in another bullet. Look, I know when I can always get my students' attention in class. All I have to do is start telling a story. Whenever I tell them facts and stuff, they're half asleep. But when I start telling a story, they all perk up. And think about it. When someone tells us a story, that's interesting. A bunch of facts is not interesting. So what you're going to do when you're writing up your lines and stuff is I want you to make it personal, make it exciting, make it interesting. If they ask you, why do you want to be a nurse? Don't just tell them because I think I can help people. I want you to tell them like a special story about when you were a child and this nurse helped you, and tell them the name and the little things that she did. That's what's interesting. You don't have to be long-winded about it. You can tell an interesting story that brings people in without being long-winded. Okay. Make yourself as visible as possible before the interview. So that's that proximity thing. So we're going to go back to that job interview quiz, and the first question on there said the best place to get a job is through the classified ads or the Craigslist, Monster.com. But we know that that's false, because we all know that most places are going to hire from the inside. Think about it. If you guys have already been working there part-time, and so everybody knows you, and you've already, busted your butt to get there, and then you're up against someone that no one has ever seen before, who's got the advantage? You have the advantage. So, if there's any way possible without being a stalker, to try to get them to see you a couple times before the interview, if there was any way, maybe pick up the job application, maybe coming back and saying, oh, I had a question about this, or, oh, I'm looking forward to seeing you on our job interview, or something like that. That would be great, because the more that people see us, the more comfortable we become with them, and then the more they like us. All right, let's go to the next one. Here we go. This was the one that I already told you about. Make your interview personal. Tell personal stories and insight that allow them to know you a little about you without revealing things that may make them uncomfortable. So, I think you guys all know the rule. You never say anything bad about your past employment. I don't care how bad it was. You never say anything bad, so you guys know that. Don't reveal anything like too crazy. Some weird mistake that you made. Little tiny flickers or something like that, but nothing major. So that's, of course, the law of self-disclosure that we were looking at. Oops, let's go back. Let's go back to the job interview quiz. So we already addressed this question. The best place to get a job is through the classified ads or online job hunting sites. So that's false. The best way to get a job is, look, when you guys graduate from college and you're going to go out there and get a real job, then what you're going to do is you are going to pick the place where you want to work. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the boss and you're going to say, hello, I'm interested in having a job here. Do you need an intern? Look, if you guys intern for 6 more months after school, it's not going to kill you. Somehow you guys are getting through school now. I'm sure you can get through 6 more months. But what it's going to do is if a job does open up, or if a job in a similar field opens up, guess what? You have your foot in the door. So what would you rather do? 6 months of interning to get the job, or would you rather have 6 months of just looking for a job and settling for something less? Just something to think about. Research has found that your job qualifications are the most important predictor of whether or not you get the job. That is false. What the research has found is the most important predictor of whether or not you get the job is your interview. So the things that I just taught you are what is going to help you to rock that interview. So just because someone comes in and they have more qualifications than you, maybe more experience than you, if you guys rock that interview, or you look like them, you make them feel totally comfortable, you're enthusiastic, you tell stories, you are just right there, you're going to get the job as opposed to someone with more experience. So that's what you can do, is you can chalk up and you can say, oh my goodness, I have all these factors against me, but what I have going for me is knowledge of social psychology. Okay, final one. You should inject a sense of humor into your job interview. I'm sure a lot of you put true, but I'm going to say false. You say, what, Amy? Come on. Give me a break. You don't know what you're talking about. First of all, I've seen probably a million job interviews, so I definitely do know what I'm talking about. But the second thing is look, check this out. When you guys listen to my lectures, droning on and on, did you kind of get in this mood where you're like, just tell us what's on the test, nothing else? And what if I started making a bunch of jokes that have nothing to do with the test? That would be pretty horrible. Okay, you would probably think I would be aggravating. And so that's what it's like on a job interview. Is people are there to interview you for a job. If you start telling all these jokes, then there's a problem. Another thing is you don't know if you're going to offend them with your sense of humor. What if they don't have the same sense of humor? Anyway, I have to go right now, so I'm going to end.